Hello my beautiful friends, welcome to our video series on why it's so hard to change. We humans got it hard, but mostly we just get really confused. We have all these thought errors that run under the radar and unintentionally we just let ourselves believe them, and that limits us. We pay that price. This video series is going to involve 3 different topics that are holding you back from change. Not the superficial reasons, not the hacks. We're going to use behavioral psychology to actually get to the root cause here, so you can finally change your life. Our habits, our reactions, our patterns, how we respond to hard situations, our jobs, our goals, actually moving towards our goal, fitness, career, personal life, spiritually. Why change principally is difficult for us as humans. We're going to talk about 3 reasons you probably haven't given any attention to in your life so far. And by raising your awareness of these, we're already going to make progress. Moreover, seeing the real problem, the real challenges, the real obstacles is going to give you an opportunity to move forwards efficiently. Solve the right problem to get your actual solution. Stop spinning, trying the things you've already tried before and just doing them harder. Let's do it properly. I am really excited thinking about how this is going to change your life. So the 3 reasons why it's hard to change that we're going to talk about are: 1, because it's hard for us to believe ahead of time. 2, because execution in the moment is difficult for people because we're often juggling our present self wants with our future self wants, and those 2 things are often in conflict. And 3, consistency. You know, I can't talk about goals or progress without talking about consistency. But if you know me well, you know that my flavor of consistency is very different to the traditional flavor. And in today's video, I want to talk about the real killer of consistency. And that is not a lack of self-discipline or not having the right hacks or calendar apps, but the root cause, which when fixed will make being consistent so much less turbulent and painful. Dare I say enjoyable. And that is addressing the root cause of self-doubt and self-criticism. There are 3 focus areas. I'm just going to give you a taste of each one. Let's get started. In today's video, we're going to get into point 1, why it's hard for us as humans to believe in our success ahead of time. The challenge of believing ahead of time. It is seldom considered that setting a goal isn't a purely empowering, exciting process. But actually, setting a goal that's important to you and actually feels like a stretch, an opportunity for growth, an opportunity for a transformation. You have to become a different person to overcome the obstacles to achieve the goal. That in itself can feel really vulnerable. And what happens here is that in describing and stepping into the mental place where you've achieved that goal or just decided that you want that goal, suddenly it feels like you have something to lose. If not just the concept of not achieving that goal and all the flow-on impacts of doing that, but losing this concept of your potential, losing your belief in what's possible for you. And let me be clear, that is going to be a thought error. That's your brain trying to say, if I fail at this goal, it means I'll never be able to achieve this goal. It means I shouldn't try again. It means there's no point trying all these other things in my life. Totally false. But the concept I want to focus on is the fact that when you set your goal, when you decide you want something, your brain can go into this vulnerable mode. How many of our brains would prefer to respond to this? Is to not even set the goal, is to retract the goal, is to decide that you don't want it, is to decide that you don't want to try, you don't want to risk that disappointment, that potential story that will be so believable to you if the failure happens, if you don't achieve the goal. It feels safer for our brains to believe ahead of time that we will fail at the goal than to believe ahead of time that we will succeed, that we could succeed, that this success is available to us. Now notice, when your brain decides to believe ahead of time that you're gonna fail, the logical thing to do is to not attempt the goal, to release the goal and to decide that it's something that you don't desire. The goal and result, the transformation, the impact of that process on your life. When we believe ahead of time that we're gonna fail, it can often feel responsible, sensible, reasonable, down to earth, etc., etc. When all the while you're still making believe. It's still a make-believe belief. You are still predicting the future ahead of time, which we know is impossible. This is a cognitive distortion called fortune telling. Now notice, when you believe ahead of time that you're going to fail and therefore you shouldn't try anyway, that feels realistic and responsible. But When you believe ahead of time that you will succeed, that can feel delusional. At least that's what comes up in my client's brain, that believing in your success ahead of time is unrealistic, delusional, make-believe. And when we interrogate these thoughts, my clients will tell me, oh, because I haven't done it before. That's why I don't believe I'll be successful, because I haven't been able to do it before. They say because they haven't done it before, they don't know if they can. They don't believe in themselves. I want to offer straight up a couple of thought errors here. Number one, making what's possible for the future based on what's happened in the past. I know it seems logical if you don't really think about this, but you can't keep letting this thought go under the radar. What's possible in the future has nothing to do with what's happened in the past, what you know up until this moment. What's possible for 10 years, 5 years, 1 year, tomorrow in your life may have nothing to do with what's been possible in the past, especially if you change the way you're thinking. And what's worse, if you choose to keep believing this thought that what's possible for your future will be based on what's happened in your past, this is a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're only gonna do what you've done before. You're only gonna do what you know. And so every year, every month, every week is gonna look the same. Why? Because they're the thoughts and the actions that you chose. That's the first thought I want you to watch your brain for. Be on the lookout for. But I haven't done it before. Why can't you do it? Because I haven't done it before. Now, the second thought I commonly see as an obstacle to believing in yourself, in the positive result ahead of time is, but I don't know how. I can't because I don't know how. This is another thought area that I need you to be on the watch for. Knowing how is not required to believe ahead of time. Knowing right now in this moment exactly every step of the way that you're gonna take, firstly, is likely going to set you up for failure. When you're working on a big goal, there's likely lots of steps and lots of levels that you're going to move through. And as you open each door, as you unlock each level, only then will you be able to see clearly how you're going to move through the next step. Your brain, your self-concept, your level of knowledge, your network might need to change before you could even comprehend what step 21 was. The concept that you need to know step 21 at step 1 to be able to be successful, to let yourself believe in your success, is a thought error. A quote that I've been obsessed with recently is strong opinions loosely held. And to me, that means setting your sights ahead on something big, setting a goal, committing to the goal, being practical and courageous about taking steps towards the goal, but keeping your eyes open as you take those steps, putting your head up every so often and looking around at where you are now and adapting to the situation as you recognize that you're in a new situation now from when you started your climb. Strong opinions loosely held. Set your goal and don't look back, but keep your eyes open so that you can adapt. Do you like my little rhyme? Give me a thumbs up. And I just want to add that if you feel like you don't know step 1, ask yourself what you need to do to figure it out. You guys have got the internet and Google's got some pretty good free stuff. And if Google doesn't give you the sufficient answer, start to ask yourself, if I did know, what would I do? If I had to commit to something for a month, what would it be? If it were easy, if it were simple, what would the answer be? What would step 1 be? Who am I trying to help? What impact am I trying to make? What is the number 1 priority, the number 1 thing I need to do to move forwards from now? And you can repeat that question once you get to step 2. Finally, the last thought error we're talking about today in the challenge that we have of believing in ourselves ahead of time is, I don't feel like I believe in myself. I don't think I can. Now, there are so many different places we could go with a thought like this. And if you were my client in front of me, I would get very specific and personal about what this means to you. But for now, I just want to offer, of course you don't believe in yourself. You think that you need to know how first. You think that you need to have guaranteed results first. You think that you need to have done it before, and so on and so on and so on. Your brain is going to keep offering you all these objections. No less, we have all been brought up in a school system that teaches us that the answers are outside of us, instead of teaching us to turn inwards and look at what we think, to value our opinions. Of course, you don't believe in yourself. No one has ever taught you how to. That's what I'm here for, my friends. That is my mission. Let's do it together. In the next video, we're going to talk about how your present self and your future self are often in conflict when it comes to actually executing your plan, and what you can do about it. I'll teach you some concepts to help you negotiate the best decision between your present self and your future self. I'll see you guys in the next